This is a lesson that I don't think I was ever taught. I don't think I ever discovered it. I think it's just something I picked up organically. And it was probably something that I had been doing for a while without even realizing that I'd been doing it. But the point where I kind of acknowledged and realized, oh yeah, that makes sense. That is an important quality in what I do, and it makes sense, and I'm glad that I finally realized it. So the circumstances where I realized this are kind of interesting themselves. But what I'm talking about is patience. Being prepared to wait, bide your time, choose the right time for an opportunity, sometimes just literally being really, really stubborn and waiting and waiting and waiting. But the time when I first realized that I was being very patient was during the period of time when I was living in Japan, and it was actually in the last year of the time there, and Anna and I had decided to go on a holiday for what the Japanese call Golden Week. So it's not quite a full week, but it's about a week that many Japanese take off. And we went to a place called Lake Tazawako, which is a beautiful area up in the more northern areas of Japan. And we were staying in a camping ground where there were basically just little wooden huts. And the wooden huts literally were nothing but a box. So you had to bring your bedding with you and all your cooking implements and everything you wanted with you. And so you could, there were shower facilities and bathroom facilities, group ones. But the actual camping facility was, you have a wooden hut in which to stay. And we did all sorts of fun things around that area. And of course I took my recording gear, because that was, my time in Japan was some of the most amazing opportunities for recording sounds. And there was a sound that I'd noticed, and I decided, I want to go and record that sound. And it was the sound of frogs on the edge of the lake. Now the frogs normally were most active just in the evening as the sun was going down. And so one evening after we'd had dinner, I just told Anna I was going to go record some frogs. She was used to me going off and recording strange things by this stage. So I walked over to the edge of the lake. I could hear the frogs, and I decided, yep, perfect spot, beautiful sunset. I think I had my little camera in my pocket at the same time. And so I walked in amongst where the frogs were. The ground there was a little bit squishy, but it was firm enough and safe for me to stand. But the act of me walking into that area, of course, scared the frogs, and the frogs all went quiet. And I realized, okay, I need to wait for the frogs to come back. But I also needed to be very careful, because if I moved around, like my body weight, even shifting my body weight, would probably scare the frogs again. So I stood completely still in one spot, waiting for the frogs. I think it took about 20 minutes for the frogs to come back. And then I stood completely still, recording the frogs for about another 20 minutes. I had not moved barely at all in nearly 40 minutes. And yet I barely noticed at the time, because whilst I was waiting for the frogs to come back, I pulled out my little camera and I took several pictures, because the sun setting over the lake was just staggeringly beautiful. I've said this before and I'll probably say it again. There's almost nowhere in Japan where you can point a camera that's not just going to look magical. This place particularly was stunning. It was summer, sun coming down over the lake. It was just beautiful. So initially I was focusing on that, and then when the frogs started to make sound, I was listening carefully, angling the microphone to get the best, and just enjoying being inside a group of frogs all around me. I mean, I was practically swimming in noise of frogs. I mean, you talk about things like surround sound. There is not a surround sound system on the face of the planet that can even come close to simulating what it sounds like actually standing in an area where the entire area is alive with frogs or insects or something similar, where you are literally completely surrounded by this sound. You are bathed in this sound. And so standing there for 20 minutes was not even remotely a challenge or a difficulty. It was glorious. There are times when I've had to be very, very patient for far less spectacular sounds. A lot of the time when I was recording aircraft or recording various different vehicles or recording birds, insects, other animals, I've had to be incredibly patient. And so that's become a very key part of my work with location recording. Now, sometimes the patience is like the frogs. I have to stand there and wait for the sound to happen. I have to wait for the plane to fly over or the train to go by. I have to wait for the birds to start making noise because the sun's going down. But at other times, the patience takes a different form. Sometimes that patience is, I want to record these insects, and these insects are only active in spring and summer, and it's winter. So I'm going to have to wait months to be able to do this. Like right at the moment, I'm putting together a library of high-res footstep sounds, and I've recorded everything I need to except for snow and sand. I need to do a 700-kilometer trip north to get the sand that I want, and I have to wait for winter to fully set in so that all the snowfields basically get snowfall so that I can go and record the snow. So in this particular case, I'm having to wait weeks and weeks and weeks and months to capture the sound that I want. So I'm used to being patient. But patience is important to what we do in many other ways. In getting the job that you want, or the break that you want, or the opportunity, you quite often have to be patient. You have to keep working hard, but you have to accept that in the creative industry, those sorts of opportunities don't come along every single day. And so to work on your dream projects, you may have to wait years. Patience is pivotal to us succeeding as human beings. We need to cut ourselves a little bit of slack. We should try and be patient with other people, but we kind of just need to be patient with the world as well. We can't just demand that the thing that we need happens right now. If I want to record, bird species X, I need to look into it. I need to research, well, when is this bird most active? Where is this bird most active? What seasons is this bird most active? What type of habitat? What type of food? All sorts of things. And then I need to basically make a plan for recording these things. Don't be in a rush. Life is a little bit like a video game. You don't want to get to the end of the game. You want to enjoy the journey on the way. There's not really much point in rushing to the end of your life. Take some time along the way and just absorb how wonderful some things can be. Give yourself time to learn, to develop, to evolve, to mature. And make sure that you are enjoying the journey of exploration rather than racing to try and get to some destination. Anyway, stay safe and give yourself some time.